Hello, everyone. Welcome to Joe Consume Cinema. I'm your host, Leofrich the Lucky, and today we have The Last Kingdom, Season 1, Episode 8, the finale. It's going to be a good one. I'm just really happy that, the boys didn't have to kill each other last episode. That would have sucked. I was convinced that Leofric was going to die. That didn't happen because of the attack by the Danes. You also got a much more humbled Alfred, which I think is a good thing. He has a little bit of doubt, which is necessary. He was this ultra devout king. Despite his sincerity and, constant, placating of the church, it didn't help at all to, defend his kingdom when it really mattered. So I think a little bit of doubts and maybe a bit more tolerance of the pagan is a good thing, and it was very, very needed in the moment. It's something that I think will allow Alfred to work with Uhtred correctly this time, in a more, give and take that I think can be productive for the both of them. So that's a good development overall. We had the burning of Scorpa's ships. This is going to drive him to Guthrum with the rest of his men. The hope is to trigger one massive attack by the Danes and then win that battle somehow. Easier said than done. If the battle can be won, that's securing a future for Wessex and England, honestly, at this point. We saw the saving of the Prince Edward's life by Iseult, a sorceress queen. Very reluctant on Alfred's part and also his wife's part, but eventually, they're desperate enough to actually try anything, and it worked. But as you saw in the moment where, she's crying for the stranger's child who only death can pay for life situation, she saved Prince Edward's life, but at the cost of some stranger's child's life. So you saw her mourning for the stranger's child. I'm thinking it might even be Uhtred's son, which would suck, but I wouldn't put it past this show. But yeah, I guess we're gonna have to just wait and see and find out on this one. But that's a potential prediction. Maybe a little bit too dark, but I could see it happening. First season up to this point has been stellar. Each episode I feel has gotten a little bit better than the last one, and I thought the first episode was damn good. So yeah, that's a really solid start. We're coming up on the season 1 finale, and I think it's going to be great. And I just want to get right into that. But before we do, please remember to blank, blank, and blank. Channel's doing awesome right now. Ton of my reactions are kicking ass on the channel. Feel free to browse, check out my playlists. There's a lot of good stuff on the channel now. I have like 140 plus videos. It's really coming together. I've also launched the Joe Consume Cinema Patreon. Every member of my Patreon gets a guaranteed movie request. I have the first season of The Penguin and the first season of Mr. Robot. A lot of good reactions, and I'm slowly building up my catalog over there. If you would consider becoming a patron, I would really appreciate it. It's, the reason that I get to do this. But with that, let's just get right to the episode.
Now's the time to fight.
To fight with what? We're without an army, and the Danes will number thousands.
One defining battle. Courage and faith.
This is the way. Yeah, he's still here as a prisoner. I think they're amused by him.
Thank you for coming to see me.
So it is Ethelwald.
Yes, please, sit down. Sit down. Then you have to kill him.
I must kill him.
Thinking Edelgard can walk into Alfred's camp and be welcomed.
Oh my god, that might actually work. They call him King Edelgard instead of Aethelwald.
There is pain here for you, my love.
Is it his son? It was his son.
We shall bury the dead. Pray for their souls.
I would like to say a prayer for Uhtred, son of Uhtred.
I hate being right.
I want to see no more.
What I've done to you, child.
I'm content enough, Lord.
What God has done to you.
Have you?
Your sister, Tura. She is alive.
Oh, she's dead.
He didn't know that.
She lives. And is being held in the north.
They didn't know. None of them knew.
Scorpa told me. I thought at first it could be a lie to torment you.
That's what he whispered.
I should like you to be the first of my messengers.
Getting him away so he can't speak negatively of Uhtred anymore.
Is over for Alfred. Alfred gave up on Wessex. Alfred is king of the eels, slippery and elusive. So you will not interfere.
I had a feeling that was coming.
May your mother forgive me. And may you be forgiven for your treason.
There is one Otto now.
Forgive him.
I would like you to leave me alone. Never speak to me again.
That sucks.
Got us in the ground, buried as a traitor. Tomorrow we'll kill you.
I have almost 1,000 men to call upon.
Your ships have been burnt, Scorpa. You should return to Guthrum and prepare to die.
I think I shall go and sit with him a while.
You think he's got it in him to actually stab him? I don't know. No. Just can't do it.
More men there. The swords of England, they're coming. It's the swords of Wessex.
Today, we fight for Wessex!
You will not fall, I forbid
Everything I have is packed in my bags. It's yours.
What the fuck?
Hold the line! We work as one!
Wolfhare! I will have your guts, you traitorous bastard!
Keep the war tight!
I'm not Wolfhare, you bastard!
Got him. No, man.
Follow me! Your queen!
Oh my god.
Did you see that? He came as the priest said. Their God is with them.
No, Lord. Grave is to be marked like that of an alderman. King Alfred defeated Guthrum of the Danes and drove them from Wessex. Peace was secured with hostages. While Guthrum's baptism and acceptance of the Christian God.
God's blessing.
The path leads north to blood feuds. Destiny is all.
Alright, took some time just to gather my thoughts. So that was the season finale. It's really good overall. It almost felt like, you know, when a show is not sure whether or not it's going to get picked up for renewal. So they kind of like do as much as they can in the finale. It sort of felt like that a little bit. In the previous episode, Alfred had literally just gotten back on his feet. The issue with his child got resolved and he was ready to start again. Uhtred and he were working together to force the Danes to fight one large decisive battle. It was their best shot at victory. And man, we got it this episode. I make a lot of predictions, and normally it's like 50-50 with me. You know, sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. But there are times where I'm right, and I really wish I wasn't. And this is definitely one of those times. Watching him, you know, crying over his dead infant son, that definitely got me. That was not easy to watch. It's a shame with what happened with Mildred. After the death of their child, she has no connection to Uhtred anymore, so she just became a nun, and yeah, that's where she was in Otto's camp. It was really cool seeing Otto the Elder alive again. And that scene was really, really good where, you know, Otto is telling Uhtred off saying Alfred the Weak, who ran from Wessex, has no authority here, you know, that type of thing. Just like insulting him, berating him. Thank God Alfred, you know, disobeyed orders and went in to actually see what was happening. He just, you know, kept a cloak on so nobody would know it was him. But he heard, you know, with his own ears and his own eyes, exactly what Otto the Younger is all about. He's in it for himself. He always has been. He just did what was, you know, politically expedient. And as far as he knew in the moment, making a peace with the Danes because they were the strongest force was what he needed to do. So any word of, you know, Alfred coming back, forming some army out of nowhere, he's like, yeah, whatever, I'm not doing that. It was cool seeing Otto the Elder, you know, put his son down for his blatant treason, and now there's one Otto. So yeah, that was cool to see. Difficult scene, but that was coming for sure. I felt it like in the moment, the way he was looking around, and I believe he saw Alfred in the crowd and knew, okay, this is done. You've just publicly committed treason right in front of the king. We did actually get, you know, the decisive battle. It was pretty good, but man, seeing Leofric go was bad enough, but the way he went was also a little underwhelming for, you know, a character of that stature, as great a warrior as he was. Took a wound through the shield wall in the neck, and then, you know, screaming out no mercy as he's literally bleeding to death was kind of badass, but still, it sucked. I wanted that character to be around for a long, long time, but unfortunately not. That Scorpa guy killed Isolt, chopped her head off, and that's what drove Uhtred to go nuts and just, straight berserker mode, and he pierced through the shield wall because they had backed off to regroup a little bit. Both sides were, tired from that big push. Created a big enough opening for the men to pour through, and, that's what ultimately collapses the line. Brida and Ragnar the Younger were taken hostage. They're still alive. I thought for sure, both of them were dead right in that moment. All the English were pouring through. Everybody was getting overwhelmed. Even Guthrum was impressed, saying maybe Aethelwald's words were true, where their god really is on Alfred's side here. It was kind of like even for the most part. The Danes still had the numbers, and then all of a sudden they pierce through the wall and everything starts collapsing. I don't know how historically accurate the show is. It's probably loosely based on some real life characters and, overly dramatized for the effect, but I would say draws on historical events and, fleshes them out with a little dramatization here and there. So yeah, we've wrapped up, the conflict with Wessex and the Danes for now. It seems like there's going to be a stable peace because the Danes are dramatically weakened, and that's the only way where you could see them being docile, at least for a while. Uhtred is now going to focus on the north, where he learned in this episode that his sister was still alive. And, I commented on that way back in episode 1 where I'm like, did they know that she's been captured? It didn't seem like they did, but there was no confirmation. It never got talked about up until literally this episode. I'm sure peace with the Danes is only tepid. There's going to be more fights in the future. It just seems for now that they've exhausted most of their manpower, and yeah, they're really not in a position to start another fight. I don't think this is the end of it. I think there's definitely going to be more. I believe this show has 4 seasons, so 4 or 5 seasons. I don't even remember which one. But yeah, I'm really digging this show. I think there's, a lot to work with going into next season. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got. So as always, thanks for watching, and peace.